For those of you who were here yesterday, we talked about how in Mark's gospel there's two principal sections. The first is chapters 1 all the way through 7, where Jesus is revealing that he is the Messiah. And so the miracles and the conversations and the teachings that are happening are leading people into that awareness, but they don't know what kind of Messiah he's going to be. And so starting in chapter 8 and then going all the way to the end, the revelation here is that he's a suffering Messiah. And this is a category that they're not really prepared for. So today we're in chapter 8. It's the first instance where Jesus is now revealing himself as the suffering Messiah. Context here is everything. So Caesarea Philippi is Gentile territory. So they're outside of the realm of God's people and God's kingdom, right? So they're entering into the wilderness. They've since departed from Eden. He takes them all the way here where there's this huge stone wall that has a gate to it that is an entrance into what they consider hell. And there's this pit where there are all these dead animals because they make their animal sacrifices there, which is a goat, and typically associated with lust and passions and things. So he's standing outside of this gate. And here, he's asking them, all right, so this is the summation of the first half of Mark's gospel. Who do people say that I am? Like, let's put a button on that. And they say, you are the Christ, which is exactly what they should say. But then he says, okay, let's talk about what kind of Christ that is. And he begins to teach him that he must suffer greatly, be rejected, be killed, rise after 3 days. Now, in Matthew's gospel, this is where the irony of like Jesus telling Peter, I will build my church. The gates of hell will not prevail against it, because that's where they're standing. Like, it all makes sense. Mark doesn't have that. He just has Peter's rebuke. So Peter then here begins to rebuke him because he's so scandalized by this kind of Messiah. And Jesus' response seems really harsh, but it's really important that we understand this. When Peter says to him, like, this should never happen and all that, he is playing the part of Satan. I mean, think about it. The reason humanity fell is because Adam refused to suffer the consequences of being faithful in the face of a serpent. Satan takes Jesus to the desert to tempt him into the office of his Messiah, with all the kingdoms of the world and his physical comforts, all the things that are owed to him, but in a way that avoided the cross, that avoided suffering. Like, you can just have it now, shortcut the whole thing, get to the glory, and forget all the drama that has to happen before that. And if he yielded to that, it would have been a rejection of the Father, because the problem here is the cross is the Father's will for his Son. And so he can't continue to be a son if he doesn't have a cross. And so when Peter says to him, look, I love that you're the Messiah, the whole thing, that's like really awesome, but the whole cross thing, you got to stop talking like that. It's a threat to his sonship, and it's a temptation to disobedience to the Father. And Jesus' response is absolutely appropriate to that. Get behind me, Satan, because you're playing the exact same part that the devil has played from the beginning. This can be very valuable to us, because it means then that I should be uncomfortable when I find myself scandalized by the cross in my own life. Like right when I'm on the verge of taking offense at God because I'm suffering, there should be a little pause that says, am I playing into the devil's hands here? Because I'm on the verge of actually accusing God of being the devil and the devil of being God. Like, no. my identity is at stake depending on how I choose to respond to this cross in my life. And it doesn't have to be huge. Like, we know the apostles are going to die, and like there's all this drama. And there's other parts of the world where Christians are dying. Here in America, honestly, the most that we're typically asked is to just be faithful to the gospel. Like, try upholding the church's teachings on marriage and sexuality. Good luck. Good luck. And so, I could go on with that, but I don't think I have to. I think you get it. We are faced constantly with the opportunity to dodge the suffering because it's not culturally appropriate, or to actually just say, no, this is the gospel that has been entrusted to me by my Father, and it's because of this gospel I am a son. And if I reject parts of this gospel, I'm rejecting my sonship and rejecting God's fatherhood and becoming part of the serpent's family, which is a theme we've talked about with Genesis. That's a serious problem that the devil would love us to diminish, to be like, you're thinking about it too hard, like you're overthinking it, right? Like Thomas More, just sign the paper. You don't even have to believe it. Just sign it. And he says, no. This is the cross, and it's mine to carry, and I will. And so I think the vigilance of Christ should inspire us to exercise that same vigilance in all of our affairs, because we now understand, in light of this context, all that truly is at stake.